On this episode of Orange and Blue Country, we got a stacked show. Want to go over the Broncos OTA, mandatory OTA practice, and what we got out of that, as well as some new stadium updates right here. Let's go, Orange and Blue Country. Let's hit it.
Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime. That's the only way to climb. We gon' make it in our prime. Signing on the dotted line. Cashing checks left and right.
Welcome to Orange and Blue Country, powered by RSTP Network. Like always, let's get into the proceedings. Also, we do got a stack show today, and we're going to talk about all about mandatory mini camps and the new stadium updates. You get what I'm saying? So, mandatory mini camp just passed last week. From day 1 to day 3, Sean Payton got on the podium and just really talked about what they're trying to achieve through OTAs or mandatory mini camps. I'm sorry. The purpose of minicamp is to set standards for the training camp. So he just wants to set the culture, the bar where it needs to be set going into training camp. Which for all players, this is where they lay the foundation and focus on details and what's necessary for the next step, which is training camp and all that competing. So this is Sean Payton talking a little bit about what he expects for certain things and for the upcoming season, and with wide receiver Troy Franklin.
Well, there's that repetition is the mother of learning, and you're seeing him play faster with a much greater awareness within each play. He's extremely explosive, and I think he's, I would say, 5 pounds heavier. A little thicker, but he's got a good spring.
So with that, Sean Payton is just trying to go overall what's the plan for this going into training camp. So I like to hear that players are really, we already know they're buying in, but I like to see the players, just taking that step further towards training camp and getting better and get the team better. So some some people that are injured or absent from mandatory minicamp was Devon Vele, which is undisclosed. What kind of, I don't know if he has injury or personal problems or personal family problems or anything, but he was out. He missed all 3 days. To be honest, PJ Locke was out for some of it or on the other field, as well as Alex Singleton, but that's come to expect from after tearing up his ACL last year. They're probably going to get him back slowly, which that's big because he's teaming up with Dre Greenlaw, which he participated but not full strength. So I know he had the quad, so therefore they're probably going to take him slow into training camp. Another note, the John Franklin Myers, he showed up to camp. He participated, so everything's good on that front. I know it's not necessary. I know there's a new contract situation, but it's just one of those things where he's going to show and he's going to probably ball out this year. So it's a good problem to have, but I think the Broncos are kind of, there's Cortland Sutton, Nick Bonito, John Franklin Myers, and Zach Allen all need new contracts, or either on their last year deal, or I think they're all in their last year deal, or somewhere around there. But yeah, that's just we're gonna see who's gonna pay which, what person's gonna pay what. So that right there is gonna be something to look into and keep your eye on for future down the road. So another thing I wanna check out, which is dope. It's not necessarily local, but a kid from CU, Will Shepard. Will Shepard, he signed a mini camp tryout. Great opportunity for my man Will Shepard to get an opportunity to make the team. He fits Sean Payton's receiver body type. So that's big news. That dropped, last week, but it's an awesome opportunity for my man Will Shepard to get that opportunity to you know what I mean? Just, get his feet wet. I know down in Tampa, he failed the physical, but then he got up to Denver. He passed his physical. He's on the field practicing, which is dope. I think he was probably one of the best receivers last year with Colorado. So I think he has an opportunity to make it, hopefully. And hopefully by the time you guys are listening to this, he's on that training camp roster, ready to go. I think he can make some big plays and make the team, at least practice squad. And we'll get more in depth on the receiver room here in a little bit because I know I did the running back class, but later during the summer we're going to break down running back Now we're going to break down receivers, O line, and then we're going to move on defense to the side of the ball, like D end, linebackers, all that good stuff. So y'all stay tuned for that. But also another roster move we got J.K. Dobbins from free. Well, I guess I don't know what he was. He was a unrestricted free agent. J.K. Dobbins, a 1 year deal, adding explosive potential to the running back room. I know we went over the running back potential a couple weeks ago on this channel, but this time we got J.K. Dobbins, and I can see it now. J.K. and R.J. Harvey is going to be pretty dope to see coming out. So getting J.K. Dobbins, it sounds like again 1 year deal. How does this? It shakes up the running back room a lot. Adding J.K. Dobbins gives Denver unproven running back class, a dynamic runner if he can stay healthy. His presence adds immediate competition to the backfield with rookie A.J. Harvey and Audric Estime, Jalil McLaughlin, Bade, and Blake Watson. It's just going to be something to see. And that's going to be my only question and my only really camp battle that we're going to have is that right there, as well as cornerback with Macmillan and the new rookie Jade Barron. I expect to be more balanced. Help Bo Nix a little bit. Dobbins is explosive if he can stay healthy, especially tackles. He can break tackles, year improve. Let's just see how that works when we can mash it together with the play action pass and stuff like that to help Bo Nix take that next jump. I think it's going to be awesome. I think that's the perfect running back for what Sean Payton wants to do. Now you're going to have that Darren Sproles and say Ingram backfield, if you want to say. I think that looks good. But what do we see again with this? And he spoke with reporters today, or not today, last week about joining the Broncos and stuff like that. And I honestly think that this is probably the best move for Denver to have.
How did it feel to be out here as a Denver Broncos fan?
It felt amazing. It's a true blessing to me. I'm so happy to be here. We're gonna do great things this year.
How have you spent the last few months? Because I imagine you knew that somebody would want you, a couple teams would want you, but not knowing where your next team would be. How's it gone?
Yeah, I'm a pretty patient person, and I was just filling it out, letting everything play out how it's supposed to be. And it was a little stressful with some things that happened in there, but I knew I was gonna get to where I needed to be, and I am where I need to be.
So yeah, man, I'm excited for him to sign that 1 year deal. And that's just going to keep on, getting. It's just going to be a total another playmaker, another time for or another player to help with Bo Nix's growth. And I just think that it's just going to be a good. And they can share the workload. No one's getting so many damn touches, so many overwork. You know what I mean? And that's what it is today. With the running backs, people like that two-headed monster type thing. So honestly, great pickup by Denver and Sean Payton and and George Payton. So I'm looking forward for that. So now I'm gonna dive in and jump into what I expect from J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Barrett real quick. So I expect them to be, like I said, a two-headed monster that can literally just run the ball downhill. Our offensive line was the first in win rate, and it just seems like last year we just couldn't break a run. So I feel like with these two explosiveness, and like I said, if RJ stayed healthy, if JK stays healthy, I think RJ Harvey was gonna come in there, and once JK pounds the rock, pause, and runs the ball effective, and then you can sub RJ in there and just go ahead and keep running the ball. And I expect Bo's touchdown numbers to be a little lower, maybe a little yards as well, just because if you have that balanced running game, they're not. He's not going. He's not throwing too many touchdowns. But hey, don't let that confuse. He can still have lower numbers than his rookie year, but still be better overall. So let's check out for that. And what do we think is going to happen with this offensive line in 2025? As long as they're consistent and healthy, I think running game overall is going to mesh pretty well. especially with those two guys in the backfield. It's going to help Bo Nix elevate the game. Need improved pocket awareness a little bit, but honestly, he can get out and run, so that people's going to have to watch for that. And we just got to push the ball down the field a little bit with him. And I think overall, the JK helping RJ, Harvey, and all that is going to be an overall great thing. And that also helped the offensive line. You're not pass blocking so much. And so just improve cohesiveness, especially everything. So the O line, the only questions that most people have is the center, but I think Waltenberg he's coming into his own. Like, hey, remember, Lloyd Cushenberry took until about his fourth year to actually really start doing something. And then look what happened. Tennessee Titans took him. So I think Waltenberg is coming into his own, and I think he's going to be all right at center. So I think our overall offensive line is good. I know Garrett Bowles is kind of older, but he's a young old man just for the simple fact that he didn't get drafted until he was 25, 26 years old. So he has some football life left in him, and he don't get injured as much, which that's always a good thing for your left tackle, protecting the blind side of now. When I say your franchise quarterback, finally, it feels good to say that, ladies and gentlemen, because trust me, for 10 plus years, it feels like we've been searching and searching. But overall, I'm excited for this team. And I feel like with J.K. Dobbins, they're a more explosive team. And I feel like the offensive line is going to look even better this year because of the additions to J.K. and R.J., honestly. And you know what I mean? So is Bo Nix ready to take that next step? That's something else I want to speak about. All of us here at Broncos Country is hoping, not just hoping and thinking, that Bo Nix is going to take that next step in his game. To that, I need improve his. He is going to be improved if his pocket awareness improves. Make quicker reads, which he's already making quicker reads, and he just improved throughout the year. So from the first two games to the playoff game, he's getting quicker on his awareness and his pocket presence, and he's just getting the ball. And like I told people before, I'm one of those people that didn't want Bo Nix per se. I actually liked in the draft Michael Penix better, but he proved me wrong when it comes to that. And I'm glad we got Bo Nix. You know what I mean? I'm a Bo lever now, I guess. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in Broncos country that has all that merch and stuff with Bo Leave on it. But if Bo Nix can continue to develop and overall just get better, just one step each day, I guess, if you want to say each day or each season or overall the season, we're gonna have some success. The Broncos will have success if that happens. You know what I mean? So if he takes that next step, we in there. So as a Bronco fan, as a Bronco creator, a content creator, I believe in Bo Nix, and I know Broncos country's ready for Bo Nix. So we already in there. You feel me? So another thing I want to touch on is the receiver group, which we're gonna go. I'm gonna dive deeper into our receiver group right now, or not right now, but later down the summer about what I expect for the receiving group. One thing is, who else is going to put a step up other than Cortland Sutton? Like last year, Cortland Sutton had a career year. I believe he still had a little drops, but hey, we all drop the ball sometimes. Plus, he goes over the middle and he catches it, creates space with his body leverage and stuff like that. So who's going to step up at receiver? Some people are looking at Marvin Mims. Troy Franklin looked good in the playoff game. Maybe that started and even Sean Payton stated that he is looking a lot better when it comes to performing. He looked good at OTAs, or sorry, mini camp. So he looks more explosive. He actually also changed his number from 16 to 11 back to his college number. With Marvin Mims' speed and playmaking ability, he could be a potential breakout. Also, like I said, Troy Franklin is ready. Plus, he already has chemistry with Bo Nix, so that's even better. But who else could be surprised? Devon Vale's out there. Who else? We still got a couple other receivers. Also, we just, I think Will Shepard could be in that mix if he plays well during training camp. So just stuff like that. We're gonna dive more into that. So subscribe and we can get into all the deep dive with the receivers and kind of look over what the receiver class has this year going into training camp. So one thing. So with the overall offense, I just want to if a receiver or two can step up with J.K., R.J. now in the backfield, Bo Nix takes another step. Our offense can be explosive. So that's what I'm looking for in training camp and see how that running back battle is, because when they put on the pads, you can't really tell now with minicamp because they're in helmets and gym shorts. You feel what I'm saying? So once we get into the pads and hitting each other and preseason games, we'll see kind of how what Sean Payton is trying to do with this running back 1-2 punch thing he got. But now I want to go and dive in and look further into the defense. All right. So big year ahead for Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito been turning heads in minicamp, and expectation is rising as a potential $30 million a year defensive end, a rush in slash outside linebacker. Sean Payton even stated that he wanted to make it clear and keep a pitch count on Bonito to keep him fresher over the course of the season. Load management, I guess, sort of say, but smart rotation, situational use will be key to maximize his explosiveness and his potential across all the 17 games. He's the player to watch. Him and Cooper, you know what I mean? They don't get enough credit as a good tandem. And actually, Denver Broncos last year led the NFL in overall sacks as a team. So you know what I mean? And with defense coordinator, now with another year with the defensive coordinator, I'm sorry, it's just gonna get better. You know what I mean? Defense, we got Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers there, and again, those contracts they have to pay somebody. You know what I mean? We re up DJ Jones, which is awesome, and like again, we got Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga we got from the Niners out of free agency. So defense looks good. It was a top tier or a top three defense. I expect them to be a top three, top two, maybe one defense this year. So overall, I feel like our defense is pretty set. And we drafted the rookie corner Jardine Barron, which of all accounts looked good in mini camps. And the highlights I see with him, he looks awesome. So that's pretty awesome to see, as well as what we got? Brandon Jones coming back. We got Riley on the other side of PS2, the defensive player of the year. Even though he don't get enough credit, I see stupid ass reports from places that it goes Sauce Gardner then PS2, which that is ludicrous to me, which the defensive player of the year is PS2. So that's just what it is. So if we can keep that. Sorry, I digress. So getting back, staying around with the pass rusher, Benito Cooper formed a great 224. Staying on top of that and keeping it going it won't be easy, but we're just going to keep on going. And we're just as long as everyone stays healthy, I think they're younger, but they'll keep getting better as they keep going. That means pass rushers. I mean, I know we blitz a lot on defense, and Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, he goes in there and blitzes like crazy. We're going to get Alex Singleton back, which that's a great. I know he's not as great as coverage as Greenlaw, which that's the reason why he picked up Greenlaw. So overall, defense is going to be crazy, and improving against the run is a big thing. Later down the year, I think it started from Cleveland on up that we kind of struggled a little bit with defense. So with Riley Moss going out, so that kind of helps. That's why we probably got Jade Barron. Macmillan again, a good slot corner. Jade Barron, he's like he can play in or out, so that's always a good thing. But that's just defense. I feel like we're good. We're pretty set there. God willing, everybody's healthy. If Hufanga and Greenlaw come in healthy, sky's the limit for this group. Not gonna lie. Also, I want to dive into more of the new defensive additions gelling with what we got going on now. So, like I stated before, can the defensive guys that we got gel with the Denver already pretty good Denver defense, already strong. I think staying healthy with the defense is going to be also could be great. Simple fact is, if they can gel together, if Hufanga, Greenlaw, and everybody that we got in the defense gel together, trust each other, build that bond throughout training camp, and make sure. I feel like defense is top one, top two, like I said before, and I think sky's the limit for the 2025 Broncos defense. So that right there is going to be, it's kind of going to be up to health, I think. Whatever the Broncos do when it comes to health wise, if we can get this going and keep them healthy, I think we're going to make a run out the AFC West. Because you know what? AFC West, and I feel like is the deepest coach division, and I think it's the best division overall. The Raiders going to come with Pete Carroll. I feel like they're going to be a tick better. You always got to worry about KC. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. KC, everybody's chasing KC really in the AFC. And the Chargers going to be great with Jim Harbaugh, but if the Chargers charge, you never know. But I think they're going to be a tick better as well. So we need that good defense. Like they say, defense do travel. So we'll see, and I'll dive in more into the Denver Broncos defense before training camp, and we'll really just kind of go over what I expected, what I believe is gonna look like going into training camp. So one thing I want to dive into is um the Broncos' new stadium update. So the Broncos quickly making major moves. Sources say that the team is behind land purchase near the Burnham Yard location, just a mile south of the current Empower Stadium. The site owned by CDOT purchased for $50 million back in 2021, is now potential location for a new stadium. So 10 properties transactions totaled of $150 million has been linked to an attorney, all signs pointing to the Denver Broncos. So this site is between, if anybody's from Denver, you'll know it's from 6th Avenue through 8th or to 13th Street. So it's the old rail yard. It's been there for years. It actually has really just mostly warehouses, old rail tracks, old railroads. So it's the opportunity to, put a new stadium in Denver to keep the Denver Broncos in stadium, because I know they had prior talks to Lone Tree and I think Aurora for a new landing spot for the stadium. Even though Greg Penna, the owner, and Damani, the president, always they just been talking about keeping our options open. To me, this points all signs they're trying to put it there, which would be dope to keep it in Denver, like always, like every Broncos country, all the fans wanted to stay in Denver. So this is just a little bit down the street. They have the opportunity to do it. They're already buying out business, like it stated, $150 million. They already bought out companies, and it could be a big change, which it's pretty dope to keep it in Denver. I'm excited for it. So I think they're going to do it. I think we would know sooner than later, because I know their lease at Empower Field goes up into 2031, but I feel like it's going to take about 3 to 4 years to build this stadium. Not just that, Empower Field is owned by the Metropolitan Athletic thing or whatever it is, and with that is the Broncos don't necessarily own the land rights to it, so this will be the Broncos own the land as well. So they'd be outright owners of the land and the stadium. So this is very huge for the Denver Broncos. And I believe with this purchase of businesses and everything around the stadium, they're going to make a little, restaurant, bars, and all that good stuff there. So this is big when it comes to, but like I said, it's going to take about 3 to 4 years to build, knock down, because you're going to have to knock down, dig up railroad tracks, knock down buildings. They're buying buildings, so they're knocking all that down. So it's going to take a process. So once I start seeing bulldozers and everything going there, then I know they're about to put out the stadium. And like I said, I would like a retractable dome there. And I know everyone's like, no, the Broncos got to stay within the elements. But hey, if they want Super Bowls, Denver, if y'all want Super Bowls and stuff like that, you're going to have a retractable dome. I would love for them to somehow keep grass in the stadium, and just kind of like LA and Arizona, or not LA, Las Vegas and Arizona, keep grass, have that come in and out. I think that would be perfect for them. Have a retractable dome in the heart of Denver, still just a mile away from the stadium is at now, which I think that's, to me, that would be the perfect, with, I guess, Chef Kiss, whatever it is. I think that'd be perfect for them. But yeah, again, the new stadium update. Stay tuned. There's going to be some big changes. I think it'd be perfect. Not just that, it's. I think I'm excited personally about this situation, about how this can work. So overall, I think Denver Broncos. So yes, I'm excited for it. So it's going to take about, I feel like, around 2027 ish. They're going to probably really get into it. Just simple fact is, it's going to take a while to knock down things and stuff like that. Like I said, it's going to be perfect. It's down the street. I drive by it a lot, so I see kind of what's going on over there. So, and I'll keep you updated with it. I know they're gonna probably want to get it down to when the lease is up at the old stadium, just so the Broncos are not moving any, or just it's not bothering anything, and it just be a seamless transition. Also, they're gonna probably put out petitions more. You'll kind of know when it's really coming because they'll put out a petition if dome, grass, and the Broncos are really good at listening to the fans and kind of seeing what the fans would like the Broncos to do. So they're pretty good at that. The new ownership is great at that. So, stay tuned. Tell me what you think about the Burnham Yard Rail Yards as the new location, the new site for the new stadium. That'd be tremendous. Like I said, I love the fact that it's staying in Denver. So that's kind of awesome right there. So again, let me know what your thoughts are. And again, thank you for tuning in to Orange and Blue Country today. I appreciate it. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, run it up for me. Again, thank you. Stay blessed. Much love. To the next time. Peace.